Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Graduate Student at Large info session. I am Esther Riske. I am the director of the Graduate Student at Large program, and I would like to welcome you and thank you for joining us this afternoon. Just a real quick sort of agenda. I would like to share a little bit about our three distinct programs: the Graduate Student at Large, the Graduate Student at Large Business, and the Returning Scholar program. Share a little bit about the timelines and details. And then, of course, I'm hoping that you will have many questions and we can take all your questions. This is my direct email. You can find me in lots of places at the Graham School website, the University of Chicago website. And my hope is that today, right now, this is our first connection. I hope you will feel comfortable to email me directly with any questions. We can follow up with a Zoom meeting one-on-one. But really, I am here to really just share with you all the information and support your next steps for yourself in terms of your academic, your professional growth. Okay. This is my favorite slide. So let's jump into it. So we are talking about three distinct programs: the Graduate Student at Large program, the Graduate Student at Large Business program, and the Returning Scholar program. The three programs allow students to forge connections with very esteemed professors, engage in thought-provoking class discussions, and access unparalleled resources while taking 4-credit courses at the University of Chicago. What does this mean? It means our students are allowed the same classroom experience as students in the college, students in master's degree programs, and students in PhD programs at the University of Chicago. So it's not something specifically curated for a group of students who are coming in to take it for a certificate or anything like that. Your classmates are students in degree programs. So it changes the sorts of conversations because it's really to invite you to have the same questions about research, to make connections with classmates, to do the same coursework, the same homework, the same examinations, really to have that University of Chicago experience. The Graduate Student at Large and Graduate Student at Large Business programs, you are taking classes for credits and grades, okay? The Returning Scholar programs, you are not taking classes for credits, you are not taking classes for grades. So if you need classes for promotions for work where you show, your supervisors and say, look, I took this class, blah, 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 and, for professional development, for promotions, or to use these classes for your own graduate future, right? Like you say to me, Esther, I really, really want to do my MBA. Okay, you take a class at Chicago Booth, and then you apply to Booth, you use this class, that will help you. It's what we call a bridge. So GSAL and GSALB are bridge programs. The Returning Scholar program, where you're not taking for credits, right? You're not taking for grades. It's really for personal edification. You've taken all your classes. You really don't want to do exams anymore, but you just want to sit in the class, do the readings, have the conversations. That's Returning Scholar. So far, so good? So there are three distinct programs. Okay. Students may take courses okay, so now we're talking about Graduate Student at Large, the first program. You can take classes at the University of Chicago College, the undergraduate college. You can take classes at the graduate divisions: humanities, social sciences, physical sciences, biological sciences. And all these graduate divisions, of course, are reflected in the undergraduate catalog, correct? So, for instance, if you come and tell me, Esther, I really, really, really want to do some classes in statistics, but you don't have undergraduate statistics, we might suggest you take those classes at the college, the undergraduate, right? Then, when you're ready, you can actually mirror those classes higher level in the graduate division of the physical sciences. Does that make sense? So you have the graduate divisions. The professional schools, the Harris School of Public Policy, the Crown School of Social Work, the Divinity School, the Law School, and Chicago Booth School of Business. Now, Chicago Booth School of Business is only meant for the second program, which is the graduate student at large business. B for business, B for booth. So if you're ever thinking about, oh, Esther, I really want the MBA, then we are thinking about GSALB because you're taking the classes at booth as a bridge for your MBA studies. All the others, which is graduate student at large, you can take classes in all these other areas at the University of Chicago. Of course, we will come back to this slide again and we can fill in all the questions. But I hope for now that makes sense. So what's this value of graduate student at large and graduate student at large business? Well, this is the oldest program at the University of Chicago. When the university was created, right, the first president of the University of Chicago said, we need to invite non-traditional students to come in and sit in the classroom with students who are on MA programs, PhD programs, or even the undergraduate college to have those wonderful conversations. And of course, indeed, it has happened, right? So it's a very special community. And what do you receive? You receive our highest grade of any university, which is our transcript, right? The transcript at any university is really the most precious form of document. And so this program, you will get a University of Chicago transcript, the name of the program, graduate student at large or graduate student at large business, with grades, the name of the class and the grade. So you take your transcript and then you can use it for future applications to graduate school, or you can take it for professional development, however you use it. Now, when you're in the classroom, you get to know the professor, you answer questions, you build a rapport. You have the opportunity to request letters of recommendation from them as well. And those letters can really sort of solidify and say, this student has an incredible passion and curiosity about this topic, about this subject. It's amazing. You can use these letters really to build your own credentials. So that's another positive thing. My program, which is made up of me, myself, and my wonderful advising colleague, two of us will offer personalized advising. We will really get to know who you are, what is your background, what are you even thinking. We will connect you to the departments, the professors, the faculty. We'll help you choose classes. We will also sort of give you all the support services of the University of Chicago and then help you to prepare for graduate school applications if that is the desire. So you're never sort of left here to feel, oh my God, I'm all alone. No, 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 no. We are here to support you. So this experience is a very powerful one. So in the last 10 years, I did a study and I said, I'd like to know what is the percentage of students who took one class in either graduate student at large or graduate student at large business and then started at an MA or PhD or MBA program at the University of Chicago, and that's 36%. 36% of students who took one class at graduate student at large or graduate student at large business moved on to MA, MBA, or PhD programs within the University of Chicago. Now, there is also a percentage of students who took classes and went on to MA, MBA, and PhD programs outside the University of Chicago, right? Because sometimes they may say, my travel, Esther, I'm moving out of state, or I am moving out of the country. So we have students who have started MA or PhD programs in Europe, in England, in Asia, all over the world, because these courses and this transcript will help you build your career. I hope that makes sense. So, the second program, right? And I specifically want to share this slide about the graduate student at large business. Now, you are only taking class at Booth. As we all know, right, Booth is mostly ranked number one or number two in terms of the world rankings of MBA programs. And it's really based on student satisfaction, student placement, right, into jobs, and also in terms of alumni engagement with the university. That's pretty amazing. What I'm trying to get at is Booth has a very special academic culture, and it also has a very special professional culture. So for our students who are interested in Chicago Booth, the GSALB program is a really good effort, right? And you can take up to 3 classes at Booth through GSALB, and then we'll help you to apply to Chicago Booth. And if you are granted admission, up to 3 of these classes will map perfectly into the MBA curriculum. The other programs, which is again, we go back to GSAL. So students who are thinking about doing master's degree or PhD in social sciences, humanities, physical sciences, biological sciences, absolutely 1 or 2 classes that you took through GSAL may transfer into the MA or PhD program. But for GSALB, exactly up to 3 will map perfectly in terms of transfer credit into Booth. Now, so for GSAL, as we have covered this, college graduate divisions, all the graduate divisions, and professional schools. And what are the sorts of resources, right? People always ask me, so what does it mean, Esther? Am I a full member of the university? Yes, yes, and more yes. We give you a ID card. I'm showing mine up here, you can see. Everybody has an ID card, which means you have access to all the different buildings, events, all our wonderful academic workshops, all the presentations. We have a lot of resources. We have UChicago Grad, who are a team of coaches to coach you in terms of professional schools, who actually coach you in terms of applying to graduate programs. We also have a very, very intensive wellness group that will help you with time management, things like if you've been out of school for a while, all of these things in terms of resources. And then there are a lot of networking opportunities on campus to meet with professors, to meet with faculty, to really just build your own career. Of course, another really incredible selling point about the University of Chicago is that our incredible faculty. To date, we have the most number of Nobel Prize winners who are actively teaching at the University of Chicago. We have Booker Prize winners, Pulitzer Prize winners. So it's really, and the moment you are in their classroom, it really means you have access to the professors, and they are overjoyed to meet students and work with them and help you. So, what are the key attributes that we might look for in a University of Chicago student, whether you're an MA student, whether you're a GSAL student? To be curious, open-minded, restless, engaged, fearless, ambitious, innovative, humorous, that's really good, collaborative, right? And these are the things. And again, I keep saying, you won't be alone. You will have me, you will have our team to guide you as you decide on this path. So the resources that all our students can expect: academic advising, graduate school application support, professional, job searches, things like that, all the complete library and workshop access. There's an incredible, vibrant alumni network, and we have lots of in-person and virtual sessions so that students can really feel actively engaged. So, important deadlines. Now, the University of Chicago, we operate on a quarter system. So there are 4 academic quarters, and each quarter is 10 weeks. So the next important deadline is winter quarter. And when does winter quarter begin for us? Monday, January 5th. That is when classes will begin. I would say 95% of all our classes are in person, and the small percentage of courses that you can take online. Everything starts Monday, January 5th. And if it's 10 weeks, it ends around the second week of March. That is winter quarter. Application deadline is Tuesday, December 2nd. So we're a little shy of a month to put in your application for graduate student at large business, or returning scholar. Now, what's the application process like? It's actually, I think, not that strenuous. Why? Because I'm not looking for GRE or GMAT scores, okay? Not looking for those. I'm also not looking for letters of recommendation. I'm looking for a completed application online. I'm looking for a statement whereby you're just saying, hello, yes, I like to share a little bit about what I'm interested in. This is my background. I would like to explore a few classes through graduate student at large or graduate student at large business. Resume or CV, if you have one, put it in. We need unofficial transcripts. So if you have transfer credits from another school and then you have your final school, we need all those unofficial transcripts, meaning if you have copies of them, that's fine. Just put it into the system. For international students, meaning students who did their undergraduate studies in another country, their place of birth is elsewhere, we need to see TOEFL scores. There's an application fee that you pay online, and then we have an admissions interview. Now, Tom, please correct me, I believe that for students who attended, right, this info session, you can waive the application fee. So, yes, Tom?
Yes, so there'll be an email that you'll receive with a code, and then you can put the code in when you're applying and get the application fee waived, which, I mean, hey, $75, $75.
Exactly. So this is a good thing. So thank you for joining us today. And then the admissions interview, which is literally like 15 minutes with my wonderful admissions colleague, who's just really, after reviewing your completed application, your transcripts, will ask some questions to make sure that you have the prerequisite studies to be able to take the classes of interest. And then she can look at the course catalog with you and make a plan. So tuition. Each class for graduate student at large, that means anywhere at the university except the business school, each class is $4,600. That's the investment. And if you are a graduate student at large student, you have a graduate student services fee, which means It is for all the services and resources on campus, including a doctor on campus. And remember, this is only meant for the quarter that you're taking classes. If you're not taking classes, then everything is zero. If you take a class, then it's $4,600 per class. Now, the graduate student at large business is the same tuition as Chicago Booth. So because the classes are owned by Booth, the tuition for GSALB is the same. So each class at Booth is $8,735. That is for graduate student at large business. The application fee, as Tom just shared, is $75. Then there is a one-time lifetime transcript fee of $81, after which all the transcripts that you order from the University of Chicago are free. And with that, I will stop sharing because I would love to take questions, and then we can certainly, go back to the slides if necessary. But the one thing I want to say before we really eagerly await questions is the program is flexible. So what does that mean? It means the minute you hit submit and we see you for your admissions interview and grant you admission, the program is flexible, so you don't have to force yourself to take a class immediately. We keep it completely flexible. So if this quarter, although you look at the catalog and you say, Esther, I can't, I've got too much of work to do, or my life is taking me elsewhere, whatever the journey is, we won't pressurize you to take a class. You can listen silently and receive our emails, and whichever quarter works for you, you can come take a class, then take a break, then come back, up to you. It's just when you're ready to take a class, I'm always here. And my colleague and I, we're always emailing saying, how are you? How are things? Check in with us. So there are lots of opportunities to keep us posted, and we will reach out to make sure. So once you are granted admission, you don't have to reapply. So just keep that in mind. And you are only charged tuition if you take a class, you decide on the class, and you keep the class. And there's also a very lenient, I think generous is a better word. It's a generous drop policy. In a quarter, which is 10 weeks, you can take the class for the first 3 weeks and then say, nah, it's not a good fit. I'm not happy with this class. And we'll drop you from the class and you don't pay anything. So it's also then that should remove the sort of anxiety of, oh my God, I'm not used to a quarter system. You can sit in for 3 weeks and start the course and sort of engage with it and then decide if it's not a good fit for you. I hope that sort of gives the lay of the land of graduate student at large, business, and returning scholar. Come, let's hear questions. Please feel free to put on your cameras. Yes, Terry, go for it.
I have a few questions. Just
Please.
about signing up for classes, what is the pecking order? Where do GSAL students lie,
Yep,
in the hierarchy?
yep,
Are we going to encounter all the classes that we want filled? Is that going to
yep.
be a problem?
Good question. Excellent question. So if it's an undergraduate class, right? We have a lot of students who need undergraduate classes. We need to allow all the undergraduates to register first. So we will probably have to wait like 4 weeks after the undergraduates finish their registration. For graduate classes, the graduate students in MA, PhD programs, they start registering on Monday of week 8 of the previous quarter, and we can register Wednesday of week 8. So we are 2 days after the MA and PhD students. And really, unless it's a particular class that is so heavily subscribed, right? And those are maybe a few, maybe in economics, there are a couple. We usually don't have overt trouble getting our students in. More questions, Terry. I think you said you had more
Yes.
questions.
So if I already have an MFA in visual arts, would you want the transcript from both the MFA and the BFA?
Yes, we need
Okay.
everything. And also, Terry, because of privacy, right? I cannot see any of your other degrees, even if you took it at University of Chicago. I won't even know you did. So that's why you would have to ask for the transcript and send it into for gram school.
And my other question is, my conundrum is that I'm looking at the MA and the humanities and
Yep.
writing. That's my interest. I've been a writer for a long time, even though I'm a visual artist, and I'm wanting to diversify my choices in terms of teaching because I have autoimmune condition that where I have arthritis. So I'm like looking towards the future when perhaps I won't be physically able to teach art. But I really love, talking about, I've been doing workshops and things like that for a long time, but I feel like I need credentials to be
Yep.
able to teach writing. And so that's why I'm looking at the MFA in writing, at math and writing. And I live close to the university and I really want to take classes in person. That's why I'm looking at this program, even though it's pricier than a lot of writing programs out there. So that's what I'm thinking. If I go, do I apply for the math this time around? Because that's what I was planning on doing. Um, but if I do GSAL, if I take a class and wait, will I be able to transfer that credit into that degree? Because
Now,
that's a lot of money to just take
right.
a class and not get credit for it.
My first advice would be reach out to Marin Robinson. She is a wonderful, good friend to GSAL. She is the associate director of the math degree. I will follow up and send you an email of her email. Email her and ask her because you might already have everything ready just to apply directly to MAPH. And there are two cycles for their application. One is, I believe, the end of December or early January, right? And the second cycle is in March. And you already have your BFA and MFA, right? You may be absolutely ready. So I would say email Marin and ask her. And if she feels directly you can apply to the MAPH, then do so. Because there are more scholarships and fellowships through the master's degree that unfortunately graduate student at large doesn't have.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Sounds good?
Yes. Sounds good.
Yun Kim, Amuzu,
Yes.
questions?
Um, as of now, not really. You explained everything so well. I'm kind of just looking over
Yay!
at my notes right now.
Yay! So Yun Kim, if you have any follow-up questions, and if you feel, you know what, maybe I have some time, let me put in my application. Remember, there is no anxiety about, oh my God, I have to take a class in winter. It just means you're in the system, and we can sort of help you in terms of when you'd like to take your first class. Hope that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. It was
You are
a very
so welcome.
clear. Yeah.
And we will, because we are recording this, we will send it out to you so you can watch it again.
Thank you so much.
Amuzu, any question? Thank you, Tom. That's Marin's email. Amuzu, any questions?
Hello, Mom.
Hello, do you have any questions?
No, please. I'm all okay here.
Wonderful. Well, we will send you the recording, we will send you the slides, and now you know me, you know my wonderful colleague Tom, who is our recruiter. So any questions, anything we can help you with, but Terry, I hope you email Marin. Take very good
Thank
care
you.
and have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Bye.